So welcome. We are here with Rocio Luna, and we're talking about a day in the life of an insurance broker. So Rocio, can you introduce yourself and your background and your role?
Yes. Hi, everyone. So my name is Rocio Luna, and I am a workers' compensation claims specialist with specialty in lowering down EMRs for staffing and construction companies to rock bottom. So before I came into my sales role, I was a workers' comp claims manager for about 6 years, which really gave me the knowledge and expertise to excel in my department and really be able to help out my clients.
That's awesome. Well, welcome, and thanks for coming to talk to us today. So if somebody wanted to do your job, what would their day look like?
On a day-to-day basis for a broker, it varies. So I would say that's what I love of my job. There's never a dull moment, especially if you are going after what I do, which is claims. I'm very niche to workers' compensation claims, catastrophic claims, but a day of a broker will look like getting your day started with either an email or a phone call. And since I specialize in construction, my day often starts at 6:30 a.m. That's when offices open. And from there, it will go on until almost 7 p.m. But this is because I decide to, extend my hours. But for other people, it will be, usually from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And it goes from me making sure that all of my clients' needs are always met. So priority for me is claims. Anyone who's has an accident, needs an urgent request, I always focus on that customer service. So customer service is very important for me in making sure that all of my clients get their needs met. And then once all of the important needs are met, then I go on to what is known as my renewals. So I go on and I see, okay, which clients are coming up for renewal? What applications do I need to get updated? What payroll do I need to update? And then from there, I go into my favorite part of the day, which is prospecting. Now, prospecting could come in many ways, which now I have been able to really venture into social media. So my prospecting is calls, emails, and social media. And by social media, I mean by posting my video of the day, which could either be an information about workers' comp or a success story for one of my clients. And those are usually typically my favorite posts because I'm able to show where my clients started, where they're ending, how much money we've been able to reduce, the amount of time it took us, and then also their testimonial. So that's really like my favorite part of, I guess, of whenever I'm able to accomplish that specific goal with that client, that's when I feel the most happiest, and I just feel that I have accomplished my mission as a broker, which is to service my client.
That's awesome. So you bring up a good point about using social media. We don't see a lot of that lately. So it's nice to see you taking that avenue to prospect, get your followers, maybe have some people share your reels or your Instagram posts, those kind of things. So that's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
All right. So talk to me about the skills that are needed to be an insurance broker.
Okay, so skills, it's definitely number one. It is communication. So even when I first started, I started off from the bottom, which is a claims assistant, came in as a claims assistant for a workers' compensation claims manager, and communication was key. I was 22 years old, fresh out of college. I did not know what workers' comp was or even what, an adjuster claim. And I had to communicate with clients. So I learned that I would say, hi, John, I got your request. I'm going to look into this. I'm going to try to get back to you by this date. I'm working on this. Hey, I have not received a response. And even though you don't have, the answer for it, as long as the client knows that you're working on it and you're not just leaving him or her in the dark, that is definitely key. I mean, communication is number one thing in anywhere you go, but here definitely. And number two is sense of urgency, speed. So I think, I mentioned customer service is really important for me. So as soon as I know there's an issue, someone needs something immediately, I always target that and try to get it, as quickly as done as possible, because I know that clients, they have a business to run, and insurance is kind of the last thing that people really look at, and the last thing like anyone really wants to spend time on. So when they send in a request, like I need a certificate of insurance, or I need you to help out this contractor get their safety records or this documentation. So definitely speed, communication, and then I would say empathy. So empathy would be my third one. And I say empathy because nobody likes having a claim. Claims happen for any reason, and understanding that everyone has issues and being able to come down and be able to connect with them, that is definitely something that I don't think it could be taught. I think you could have heart, it comes in with the heart, but also the intention. So you have to be very intentional with how you service your clients. And if they go and, making sure that their needs are first, without a doubt, you're going to be a top producer, because that's one quality that I have seen across the nation for all top producers, is that they care about their clients, and they always care about achieving the best results for them. So those would be my first three characteristics.
I love that, because everybody thinks about insurance as this big bad corporation that's just after their money. So I love that you're bringing that human touch to it. And that is we're trying to shift the narrative and the thought that we have people that do care about you. So I love that you're building those relationships. You're focused on the empathy, communication, and also that action, making sure that it gets done and the speed. So I love those.
Yes.
And we know that all jobs have their ups and downs. So I would love to know, what is your rose for your role and what is your thorn?
So this one actually kind of caught, I had to think about it. So I would say my rose is being results oriented for the claims. So people come to me with a problem, and like I mentioned, my expertise and experience in workers' comp claims has really helped me in knowing, okay, right away, like I know what you need to do. You need an SOP, or you need to update this policy in place, or let's look at what your NPN network's looking like. What do we need to adjust? That's my rose. And then my thorn, I would say, is I'm gonna give two thorns. So okay. Definitely, I would say getting caught up in the drama. So getting caught up in the drama in the sense that if something isn't being done at the speed I want, I might get stuck because I'm like, okay, where's this claim? Why is it taking so slow? Or where's the payment for this claim? Or where's this? And you get kind of caught up in the weeds of the whole process of it. And then in connection with that, my other thorn is probably the speed in getting quotes. So we all know right now it's a hard market. Underwriters are overpacked. They have so many submissions on their desk, and honestly, they don't have the time to really go through every single one. And I think this is a problem across the industry about receiving quotes. I guess everybody wants the quote 2 weeks ahead. Yeah. And that's definitely something that I would say all insurance agents are fighting for, and that also could create some chaos in with the clientele. But again, it comes down to communication. So if you're communicating with the client saying, we are still waiting, I hope to, I'm going to get a response Wednesday, or I'm going to follow up with you again on Wednesday. If you don't hear from me, this is what the action plan is.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And setting those expectations maybe up front, that there may be a little bit of a backup. So here's what to expect. I think that helps too when dealing with clients. Mm-hmm. So my last question is, what is a common misconception around being an insurance broker?
So I think the misconception, it is that it's robotic and boring. So everybody thinks, even, clients and prospects that I reach out to is that they just think, oh, it's just insurance. It's all going to go through the same process. It's so tedious. All these forms, and I have to do all these forms, and then you come back with more questions, and then I have to wait 5 days more for my quote, and then loss runs. So this whole process, they make it very, people have this idea that it's dry, robotic. You get an insurance policy that's 50 pages long. Nobody reads it. Nobody knows what's in it. You just know that you have coverage, but you have no idea. You might know when it comes up for renewal, but nobody really reads it. And I think it's because the whole misconception that it's very dry, that and it has come out now, with a lot of more people coming into the industry. I think there's been a shift in technology as well. And I think that's really helping out this whole robotic sense of, because if you think about insurance, if you ask anyone, people automatically think about like Berkshire Hathaway. And then when they think about Berkshire Hathaway, they're like, oh, it's big, humongous company with billions of dollars, and insurance, it's its own world, and you never win with the insurance. All they care about is money. And I think that's one misconception that the world or nation might have on insurance.
Yeah, no, and I love how you and several people are changing that to be more relationship based. And
yes,
let's use the technology to take care of the boring stuff, and let's build on the relationships to make sure you have what you need, and we help you in those times of need. That's
yes,
great.
and then just like you said, it's all based on relationships. So a client wants to know that, hey, I know the name of my agent, because I have come across, some prospects that, oh, well, I don't know who my agency is or who my rep is. I think it's this XYZ. And it also comes down to having that human touch, because at the end of the day, we're all humans. We all want to know that the person we're talking to cares about us. And even if they don't care, they're going to do what their job is. And they want someone reliable. They want someone they could trust. And at the end of the day, you can't build a business without trust.
Right, exactly. So I do have one other question, and it's just coming from a person that doesn't know the insurance industry as well. I'm a newbie in it, and I'm sure a lot of people that are watching this might be newbies, but I asked you this before. What is the difference between an insurance broker and an insurance agent?
Yes. So an insurance broker, which is what I am, is a brokerage that has access to multiple insurance companies. So I work with companies such as AmTrust, such as Berkshire Hathaway, Travelers, Hartford, you name them. And an agent is a specific person that represents that company. So such as you represent AmTrust, and that's who you vouch for. That's a product you sell. That's everything you rep. And there's a big difference in that aspect. And just like anything, there's sometimes people, or maybe like the public will throw in the name, oh, that's my agent, or that's my rep. But it's just a name that gets thrown out. But a majority of when people are talking about reps, they probably more than often refer to brokers.
Okay. Well, good to know. Well, I appreciate your time today. Is there anything else that you would like to tell folks about your role, or what it entails, or anything?
Yes. So I would definitely say to any college students who are about to graduate and are thinking about, you don't know what you want to do, and you're curious, or if you're curious about insurance, I'd say give it a try. And I say this, give it a try in every department. I'm not just talking about sales or claims. There's also accounting, there's quoting, there's underwriting, there's loss control. I mean, there's this whole, side of insurance that people don't know. And you just have to find where your skills are at, or where you feel that you could grow. And obviously, when you first come in, you're gonna feel uncomfortable, just like I did when I was dealing with claims. I had no idea what I was doing. I was scared. I was scared talking to adjusters, talking to clients, because I didn't know if I knew the information right. I had imposter syndrome. But once you start getting into the flow of it and you start picking up the passion for it, definitely venture out to it. If you like to build relationships, insurance is a space. And this is also, as if you want to be a wholesaler, an underwriter, you're building relationships with the outside brokers. And same thing with loss control. Loss control, you're building relationships with the public. It's everybody.
That is so true. Every time I talk to somebody, it's really shifting towards building relations and that relationship management piece of it. So you hit the nail on the head.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time today. This was a wonderful interview. And thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, Courtney.